Right, ladies and gentlemen, these are a number of the spawns that we built, not all of them. This one on stilts, I don't think any of us ever actually liked, but we've kept the schematics for all of the spawns we built, just because we can. And it's probably a good thing, because on revisit, a lot of these servers we've found that many of them have been removed or been replaced, or, you know, the map's changed or something along those lines. So here we have the only remaining copies of some of these buildings. This one we call the spawn on stilts for obvious reasons. If you go down to the bottom of it and look up, it's on big sort of metal towers like legs. I don't quite like this one at all. I made the metal sort of, the iron framework sort of shape of it, and then we got, I think it was Nick who built most of the castle on top of it, on top of a hill. And
personally, I rather like the design on this bit in general, because it's not really a design that you'd use every day, is it?
No, it's not something we used on other builds. Yeah, that's the only interesting thing about it, really. That it's just so much different to the other buildings. You'll see from the next two buildings that they're fairly similar style, and this is completely different. So moving on to the next one, built by us for Chaoscraft. We were sticking with the idea of compasses in the middle, because we quite like building compasses in the middle of spawns, but we didn't want to stick with the big domed roof idea, and like the ones we'll show you further on in the video that we're currently using at our spawn. So we built this, but we built one side at a time. Well, we built only one side, and then we rotated it and flipped it round, and it produced quite a few world edit glitches and errors with the building, and it didn't quite line up at all points, and it's a bit of a disaster, this one. So I wasn't too fond of this. Now, if we walk to...
I think it was a nice change, considering most other builds that we did was, well, mostly inside, while this one is mostly outside.
Yeah, well, if you TP to me and show what we turn the spawn into, just a single building, this is how it actually started off. We removed all the other parts, and I'll go and help that guy quick.
Biome, oh good, have fun with that. Yeah, this is just one whole side of it mainly. Did you say this was a corner, or literally one length of the wall?
That's one side of it. That's just one side of the thing we flipped to create four sides of the main spawn building.
I got to admit, I really did like this one, to be fair. Out of most of them, or even all of them, to be fair, the outside one was a nice change from having, like, for example, a quarter of this is usually the size of the smaller buildings that we did, which was mostly inside.
Yeah, this was much larger. Because it's square rather than circular, as a lot of other spawn buildings were. It enabled a lot of space for notice boards and all that around the edge that didn't block out other stuff. So that's one good side to it, again. Did have a lot of wasted, unused inside space. So. Anyway, on to the next building, which was our last ever. This isn't in chronological order at all, because we're going to be going back to another building in a minute. This was our last ever spawn building we built for the Spawn 8 series, and it was, I think personally, it was one of my favourite ones. Now,
Yeah.
You might notice that, we'll obviously have noticed if you've watched all the videos, that a lot of the buildings use stone brick and black and white wool, and I'll explain why that is in a minute, although you probably already know. Yeah, so I was quite happy with this. I thought there's a lot of detail in it. The inside was quite nice, and also you could access all the floors quite easily. On our server, we've utilised it as a building to put notice board in, and from that you can tell what needs doing on the server, and it's just generally a good bit of information. Inside, it's got a big chandelier and big tower sort of thing at top. It's quite light for this sort of building, considering it doesn't have a glass roof. And overall, I think it's fairly nice. But I think that's enough said about that one. I can't think of anything else.
I'm still chuffed about the chandelier. That actually came out better than I expected.
Yeah. Right, if we teleport to spawn.
/spawn.
This is... I know I said this about the last one. I was lying. This one is actually my favourite of all time, and you can tell because we're using it for our spawn. Every time we built a spawn for another server, at the end we asked if it would be alright to have a schematic, which is basically a copy of the building for those who don't know, and they can transfer it to our server. And we received that from many of the servers, and this was one of the main ones, but then they tried banning us after we built the spawn, so we managed to get back on there and completely destroyed their server.
That's what happens when you're a dickhead.
Yep, so this is the survivor of their server, and it's the best part of it that they had, and we're quite pleased with it, really.
To be fair, it was the best inside one.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and then the hub building, I guess, is the last one to show, and although strictly it wasn't a Spawn Age series one, it was our first ever proper spawn, I guess, and that sort of shows how far we've come. Now, if you look down,
it's tiny and just mostly glass.
Yeah. If you look around the hub, though, you'll notice a lot of the buildings have the black and white and the stone brick and all that. That's why we built most of our spawns to look like that, because we knew that in the end they'd probably delete their spawns and we'd end up with them and we'd want to put them somewhere. And that's where we put them. So we all built them to fit in and fit together, and I think they've turned out pretty nice.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it. That's most of our spawns, I believe. We didn't get a schematic of every single one, and they're just the ones that we got, and they're the ones we have. Which, how many episodes was it? 10 we did?
10 plus another 2 where a few things went wrong. For example, the one, I don't remember which server, the server name, but it was griefed by 2 other people that for some reason got op because the owner was giving op to random people, and 2 of them made out they were YouTubers, if you remember that, Michael.
Yeah, do you remember the one where the admin actually threw a hissy fit and destroyed it?
Oh yeah, the one where we actually got banned because Shixmore was trying to help him out with making sure he doesn't get taken down for copyright.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a stupid one as well.
Good times.
What a lovely look down memory lane.
Yep. That pretty much concludes the Spawn Age series. They are our spawns, they're the buildings we kept. That's it.
But apart from that, thinking of doing a new series as well. No idea what we're going to call it though. I did have a name at one point, but I've completely fucking forgotten it. Right out of my mind. But that's just to build just buildings in general, to be fair. Not just spawns.
Yeah, so that should be interesting. We'll see how that goes. Yeah.
It's gonna be a lot more variety then, because it's not just fuck. But yeah.
Yeah, there should be more variety, different shaped buildings, different types of buildings rather than just spawns. Yeah, we should have an episode of that up fairly soon. Not sure if it'll go on for quite as long as the Spawn Age series, but
I'm definitely gonna make sure I edit them down, because for the Spawn ones, I just wanted to record everything that was done to show that we actually did do it without help. And I think with 1 or 2 we did get a minor bit of help, but not one that will make an overly large difference.
No. We've done them largely ourselves. We've used World Edit, admittedly, with some of them. Well, I think most of them, but
Oh
even
yeah,
then,
you can't do it
tough.
by hand, some of these. I mean, this would take way
I mean,
too
some of the earlier ones, I think we did, and the smaller ones, admittedly, we did build whole sides of buildings by hand, and then only used the world edit to flip them. I mean, a lot of the work has been done by hand.
Oh, definitely, but there was one or two where, to be fair, actually, you saying that, one of them we did actually have to do most of it by hand, because it's the one where we got banned, remember? The guy was reluctant on giving you World Edit.
Yeah.
About 44 minutes into the bloody thing, when we could have had it done about half an hour
Yeah.
at most, but he was making us do it by hand, and about 44 minutes in he was like, alright then, you can have World Edit. Thanks for such a waste of time.
Yeah, those sort of admins are always the worst, but then again, we are coming onto your server saying, "Can we have World Edit, please?" And we expect them to say yes. And for some reason, a lot of them do, but then they don't usually regret it, and they respawn for 1 or 2 months before they decide, you know what, we'll get one that's been made by other people, but is used on loads of other servers, because it's sort of a pre-made one for loads of people. We'll get one that's not unique at all, and we'll use that. Not sure why.
The only reason that we even get the op is because we show evidence of us actually doing things for people.
Yeah.
Unlike most other prats that just go around going, "Hey, can I make something for you? I'll even do it on another server or something like that, just to get op here without previous experience whatsoever." Like, this server's been up 3 years.
Yeah.
We've done
3 or
10
4.
episodes. What more proof do you need?
Yeah. 50 towns, different kinds of buildings, you know. It's all good.
I'd say we have more than enough experience, if I'm honest. Mainly you, Michael, because
Pudding.
you did make the whole of, well, London.
Yeah, true. The proof of the pudding is in the making. That's not how the saying goes, I don't think, but it still makes sense.
That's why I recorded our 2-hour-long episodes to show the making of it.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty much all that's got to be said, really, about the spawns, I think.
Pretty much.
And with that, I've got to go to the post office, so, you know what, viewers, fuck off.